Okay, so bear with me, this is going to be a little shaky. This is just going to be a video showing this clamp being mounted to this table. For those that bought the plan, this is the clamp off of the old vise, off of the old bench. And what you have the two runner bars, what I call it, and then you got the threaded bar. And the way this is going to be mounted to the table, if we were to mount this up under that apron like this, let's see if I can come down here and show you. It's going to hit that. It's going to hit that shelf under there. You see that? Okay. All right. So what we got to do is we have to bring it up into the apron and drill 3 holes. On the other table, this is what the jaw was sitting on. Okay, I had my jaw on here like this, and that's how it was mounted, like so. There's the holes that line up. So it was mounted like this. That was on the apron side, just like that. And these two pieces that come out were mounted on the bottom of the apron on the old table like this. And I had screws ran up through the holes into the apron. But on this table, I can't do that because that would sit too low, like I was just showing you, and the bars would run into this shelf unit that's sitting about right in here up under the tabletop. And so the bars would come through and hit that, and it wouldn't close all the way. I'd have to either drill through that shelving unit that's under there, which I don't want to do, or I have to raise this up. And if I raise this up, you see how that's what's gonna happen. I don't have any way to mount this to the wood. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn this around just like so, and we're gonna mount this with these holes on the bottom edge of that apron. I'm actually gonna line this edge here up with the bottom of the apron. And I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm gonna come over, see if I can show you. Okay, so here's the leg on the corner. Just right out of frame here is the end of the table right here, see? So let me go back up a little bit. So here's the end of that leg piece. All this is that leg. So I'm gonna cheat over a little bit, because on the other table, my dog holes were a little bit too far from the edge. So I'm gonna come over just a little bit, and I gotta keep in mind I've got pocket holes in here. So, you know, these holes here that you're gonna screw into the table, keep in mind you've got a couple of screws in there that you need to try to avoid. But we're gonna just turn this around, and we're gonna mount this straight, just directly to the tabletop, okay? And this will give me two good references, because once I hold this up, I can just take a long pencil and go in there in these holes right here and just trace out where the center of that hole is going to be, and I can just drill in those 3 holes. And all I gotta do is drill holes that are big enough for the 2 rods and the threaded rod to go through, and that's it. But one thing I want to show you is when you mount this, if you reference off of these rods right here, let me show you what's going to happen. When you go all the way in with it, those wings down there are going to hit that. See where it's meeting right here? Those wings are hitting that jaw. We're gonna have to take and just cut a piece of that out on the table saw and just rip that much off of that jaw there. So I'll come in here and rip off about, I don't know, let me get a second. There we go. I'm gonna rip off about that much, and that way it'll clear this wing here, because I've already got the screws into the jaw here. this is remember this is what I've already had on here. I've got a video on mounting this on my other table. So if you have any confusion, just reference that video about how to do it, how to put the jaws on and all that. But because I've already got the holes drilled and mounted and all that stuff, I'm gonna have to just come back and cut some of this off. And then once we get everything mounted, we're gonna have to take it off again, because we want to trim off however much we need to trim off to be even with the top of the table, because we don't want our vise sticking up above the table like so. You know, we want our vise to be even with the tabletop, so we can, you know, this it's our outfeed table as well. So if we have a piece of wood, we want it to slide all the way off. We don't want something in the way to where it's going to hit. I like this vise a lot. I had a issue. If you bought the plans, had a person email me and tell me that the vise link that's in the original plans was broken, and that it went to Apple or something. So I went in and fixed it. So if you bought the plans, you can re-download those, and it should be fixed. If not, send me an email and I'll send you the link for the vise that I'm using. So that was my fault, oversight on my end, but I can't recall his name, but Kevin, I think. Kevin, thank you for catching that. I really appreciate it. Put those back in the same place. Gotta be careful. I don't want to strip these screws out, or these holes. But using them so much. But I shouldn't have to take this one back off. Well, yeah, well, I'll have to trim it right here. I want to tighten it down because I want to get a nice mark on where I need to cut it. Okay, that's the screwdriver Jeff Ferguson made me. He brought that to me when we made the shop cart. Okay, so now we can see that, of course, that's got a gap in it. There's gonna be another jaw there, so that's good. I mean, I've got some thick, thick jaws here, so I'm losing a little bit of clamping capacity, but you know, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, mostly what I clamp up is, no bigger than probably three and a half inches or whatever. So, so that cleared the. Let's see if I can get a close-up shot of that. So you can see right under there, I've got clearance. This is clearing that little wing right there. Before, it was hitting way back here. It was stopping like right in there because the wood was coming down here and it was hitting that. So now, once I put the other jaw on, I got to go all the way up to it and tighten up, so it'll be good. Right in there. Right there. Alright, so I've got a Forstner bit. Let me see what size. 5/8. I think it's actually a little bit bigger than what I need. But all we need is for have a place for these rods to travel. Now the trick is finding the center of these. Alright, now we can test it and hope that it works. We'll see how well it works when we get the vise lined up. Alright, so I've marked my holes. I'm going to go right in the center. Alright, so it kind of pulled it up a little bit. It may not be level, and it's not. So and we're level. Alright, now what I can do is line these holes up, put the screw in, and what I've done, I've got this first hole, or the first hole goes all the way through, just big enough for the screw to pass through. The second hole is big enough for the head to go in, so it gives it a stop, okay? And I'm gonna line these two up with these two holes. And that's gonna secure the vise even further. And now I can put my vise in. It's the middle hole where the screw goes through. I think these other two are okay. Let me try something. I've got a real coarse file from Harbor Freight. These things have a lot of pricklies on them. So I'm going to use this. Hopefully it'll and it's going to be the top side. Let's see how well that did. Thinking if we can get it to go in, it'll work itself out or cut grooves in it. All right. And I'm gonna mark it even, and then I'll just go slightly below with the when line it up with the blade. These two pieces right here. I cut that much off. All right. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I just don't like that they're uneven a little bit. There's a lip there. So I may just take it down with a hand plane. Alright guys, so that's the vise install. I got to go back and put the screws through the bottom of the vise up into the jaw liners, and that might pull it down a little bit, so I may have to go back with a hand plane again and smooth it out some more. But for the most part, that's it. If you bought the plans and you have questions, comment down below. I will get back to you on it. Other than that, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.